Dear students, greetings of the day. So today we are going to discuss another very important types of negative interaction known as competition. So competition is one of the another important types of negative interaction where two organisms resides in a close community and they compete for the nutrients that is required for their growth, and both the populations are adversely affected with respect to their survival and growth, and these populations achieves lower maximal growth densities or lower growth rate than they are residing in their individual habitat. And this competition which occur when two populations uses the same nutritional requirement or space or a limiting nutrients. Most of the cases the competition occurs, the organism is fight with both the organism, they require a single nutritional elements, and the organism fight with limiting nutrients, and which organisms are able to utilize this particular nutrients, that organism will survive and other organism is simply eliminated from that particular community. And the competition generally occurs for any types of growth limiting substance or necessary growth limiting factors, such as that can be carbon, that can be nitrogen, that can be phosphorus, or that can be oxygen, or that can be iron, or that even can be water. And one of the important types of important concept for competition is competitive exclusion principle. So that means to say, when competition occurs in a particular ecological habitat, the ecology will separate this particular population based on their competitive nature. That is known as competitive exclusion principle. The competition brings ecological separation of closely related population, and two population in the same ecological niche, both of them they will fight, and one will win and another will lose, and that will be eliminated from this particular community. An excellent example for this competition is the interaction between Paramecium chordatum and Paramecium aurelia. Both of the organisms are ciliated protozoa and they are commonly found in fresh or marine water ecosystem. And individually, both Paramecium chordatum and Paramecium aurelia, this population grows and maintain constant population level in presence of their adequate bacterial prey. We have previous class we have discussed their prey is mainly bacteria. We have seen that they undergo predation with the bacteria, and this when both the organism placed in a particular culture, so what will happen is the Paramecium aurelia showed maximum growth and they competed with the Paramecium chordatum, and they will be overgrown. Finally they will be survived after in a culture of 16 days. That is what the study says. So here you can see a graph that shows the growth rate of both Paramecium chordatum and Paramecium aurelia when they are placed in a culture vessel and they are undergoing the competitive relationship. Here the time is taken along x-axis and the population volume is taken the y-axis. So if the particular organism, if you cultivate Paramecium chordatum alone, so as you know that initially there will be a log phase, even if this is a protozoa, the growth curve will be like this. So once their nutrients will be started depleting, there will be a stationary phase, but still you can see a proper type of a growth rate. And if this particular Paramecium chordatum is mixed with the Paramecium aurelia, so what will happen? Initially both the organisms are started increasing. So once the limiting nutrients, both the organisms will competing for the limiting nutrients, and Paramecium aurelia and Paramecium chordatum will compete for the limiting nutrients, and finally both the organisms, the Paramecium chordatum, this is the growth of Paramecium chordatum, and this will be coming down and they will be eliminated from the particular habitat because Paramecium Aurelia will be able to, compete and win this particular battle with Paramecium chordata. And the same case, if you grow Paramecium aurelia alone, and this is the growth rate the same like Paramecium chordatum, and when this particular protozoans are placed in a culture that consisting of a minimum that is lacking a nutritional requirement, then both the organisms start fighting, and what will happen? And Paramecium aurelia will somehow fight with this particular Paramecium chordatum, and they will win, and finally almost the same growth level they'll take the limiting nutrients and they will grow. And here you can see, due to this particular competition, Paramecium aurelia will be growing in a particular level, but Paramecium chordatum will be eliminated. So that is known as the competitive exclusion. One will be due to the competition, there will be an exclusion of the population will takes place. And here the interaction between Paramecium chordatum and Paramecium bergeria is another example to tell about the competitive exclusion principle. And this particular exclusion principle, the nutrient, not only the nutrients, the ecological niche or ecological habitat will be playing a very vital role. This is the primary example of how microorganisms used to demonstrate the ecological principle, and they can correlate the principle of competitive exclusion. So what will happen is when a mixture of Paramecium chordatum and Paramecium bergeria is placed in a culture, what will happen? Both the organisms will survive and they will reach a stable equilibrium when they grow together. And when they competed for the same nutrients or same food material in a particular culture medium, but the organism occupied in the different regions of the culture flask. Okay, so even if they are competing with the same nutritional requirement, their ecological niche are different. In that particular case, the habitats were different, and the two populations were coexisted although they were a competition. Okay, due to this particular situation here, the ecological niche is the same, but there is a lack of limiting nutrients, and both the organism, both the protozoans will be compete with each other, and they coexist because their ecological niche are different. Okay, in that particular condition, what will happen? Because of the coexistence in a particular niche, the exclusion of one particular population will be prevented. Okay, so that is what the main important aspects here. So in a different habitat, there is a mechanism to minimize the competition and prevented the extinction or the removal of one particular population. Even if there is a nutritional starvation, both organisms are coexisting in a particular culture, and where they are two different regions, and what will happen? Because of this particular parameter, ecological niche, even if they fight for each other for a limiting nutrients, what will happen? There is this particular mechanism will minimize the competition, and there will be prevent the removal of this particular population. They are able to extinct. And here, but it is not happening. Always Paramecium chordatum will be extinct, Paramecium aurelia will be survived. But in the case of here, both the organisms survive due to this the coexistence in a particular ecological niche. This is another important aspects of competitive exclusion. That will be excluded from the competition. Which one? The ecological niche will be, that will help to exclude that two organisms in a competitive interaction. Then another important interactions are the chemostat. So chemostat, as you all know, you have studied in microbial biotechnology, this is a type of modes of culture. You know that there are 4 different modes of culture. One is one type of culture is known as a closed culture system. Another one is known as open culture system. Okay, open culture system, there are 2 examples, chemostat and turbidostat. Okay, And generally this modes of cultures are different types: batch culture, fed batch culture, continuous culture, and a synchronous culture. Okay, and this chemostat is a continuous culture system. This is an example of competitive exclusion principle. Here you can see the media that has a limiting nutrient, and here you can see a chemostat vessel, the fermenter or bioreactor, and from this particular tube that consisting of the media will be continuously released to this particular medium with the limiting factor. At the same time, what will happen? Due to the continuous supply, the microorganism will be multiplied and they will be constantly reproduced, and the rate at which the nutrients are supplied from the media reservoir, especially the limiting factor, same rate, what will happen? Whatever the bacteria are growing here, that particular culture, it is taken out. So that way, in this particular vessel, the growth of microorganism will be stably maintained. Okay, so this is, and during this particular condition, under the limiting condition, the single organism will survive in the chemostat. Okay, the population, that is competition for the primary resources, will be excluded for the system. Okay, if any organism they compete for the primary resources, and they will be excluded from this system, and the population with the highest intrinsic growth rate will survive. The population with the maximum growth rate, how fast it will be reaching the log phase and stationary phase, such kind of organism will survive, and the population with the lower growth rate, that will be eliminated from this particular system, and this particular system is known as a chemostat. This is another important example of a competitive exclusion principle. What is exclusion here? The organism, they are able to multiply at a high intrinsic growth rate, they will be survived, and the organism, they are not able to replicate a higher growth rate, they will be excluded. So that is another important example. Then, and what is the environmental condition that will help to maintain this population in this particular relationship, in a competitive relationship? One of the most common example, as we have seen here, coexistence of the population in the same habitat. Okay, an example is a marine habitat. Populations of psychrophilic and psychotrophic bacteria, they survive in the same ecological niche with a lower concentration of organic substrate. Okay, so psychrophilic organisms are the organisms, they are loving the cold, generally sometimes minus 22 or minus 2 to 20 degrees centigrade will survive. Okay, and psychotrophic organisms are the organism, they will be able to survive little high temperature than psychrophilic organism. Okay, so that is known as psychotrophic organism, and these both the organisms are placed in a single ecological niche, and what will happen? There is a concentration of the organic substance is lower, then there will be the coexistence, and the environment will influence for the exclusion of the particular organism. And at a low temperature, the psychrophilic organism will be showing high growth rate than the psychotrophic organism. Okay, thus the psychrophilic organism will survive and psychotrophic organism will be eliminated or excluded. And the just opposite, at the high temperature, the psychotrophic organism will be showing the high growth rate. Okay, and but psychrophilic organism will be showing little bit less growth rate, and the psychrophilic organism will be eliminated from this ecological system, because you know that psychrophilic organism, they are able to survive in a deeply, how much cold condition, how much temperature reduction is there, psychrophilic organism will be able to survive, and the psychotrophic, they will not be able to survive that much lower temperature, but when the temperature is little bit increases from minus to somehow little bit near to the positive value, then psychotrophic organism survive, and this will eliminate the psychrophilic organism. So here the environment is different. One environment is with high temperature and another environment with a low temperature. Okay, so this environment will favor the coexistence and the extinction of one particular population, which population they are able to survive at that particular environmental condition, that will be survived, the other will be simply eliminated. In a different environmental condition, the same bacterial population may compete and become dominant. Okay, so this particular condition, which organism they are able to survive, and that will be able to compete with the other one, and they will become the dominant population. And another excellent example is for the environmental impact, the coexistence and growth of anoxyphotobacteria. Okay, this is a particular bacteria. They will be able to undergo photosynthesis and they will be able to produce their own energy. Okay, example, Chromatium venosum and Chromatium vc. Okay, so Chromatium venosum, they are able to compete with the Chromatium vc, and that will be eliminated when they are growing in a medium with the light and sulfide as the growth limiting substance. Okay, so the coexistence of both the population will take place in their particular medium where the sulfide act as the limiting factor. And during this particular phase, as we have discussed a low temperature, high temperature here, the same way, if in the case of a light period where the light is abundant, what will happen? Both organisms will coexist, and the sulfide is oxidized by Chromatium venosum. Okay, and this particular organism will be utilized by sulfur and they will be survived, other organism will be eliminated. But in the other side, the dark condition, both the organism coexist in their particular medium. However, Chromatium vc will be survived because they will be able to oxidize the sulfide and they will be able to utilize, and this will be the major population, and this Chromatium venosum will be simply eliminated from their particular community. So this is another important example. Then another important concept. So in this particular competition, one of the important aspects that influence the competition is the resources. Okay, the ratio in which how we are supplying the resources. Okay, and that will be having a huge and a tremendous role to play for competition, and that particular aspect is known as resource ratio theory. Okay, and this resource ratio theory, it is very much essential for studying the competition and to understand the outcome of the competitive interactions. Okay, and generally this resource ratio theory says that the organism requires resources for the growth and reproduction that differ in their efficiency of the uptake and utilization of the potential growth limiting factor, and physiological difference exists which leads to the variation in the competition, and which organism they are able to utilize the uptake very fast and utilize that particular limiting factor. That utilization will favor to the existence of the population in a competitive environment. And the outcome of microbial competition, which can be predicted from R star, okay, that is nothing but the steady state concentration of the growth limiting resources at which per capital growth rate mu of the bacteria of the population and just balance its the capita mortality rate m. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? There is a particular expression for resource ratio theory, that is R star is equal to mks divided by mu max minus m. Okay, where R star is the concentration of the growth limiting resources. Okay, and mu max is the maximum per capita growth rate under the condition of a resource saturation. Okay, and Ks is the resource concentration where the growth occurs in its half maximum level. Okay, that is known as Ks. Okay, so R star is equal to mks divided by mu maximum minus m is the expression for a resource ratio theory. So how the resources will be helpful for the competition. Okay, and this an excellent the resource ratio theory can be studied by an excellent example. The competition between two obligate psychrophilic pseudomonas and the facultative psychrophilic spirulina at a 2 dilution rate for the lactose utilization. Okay, the competition for lactose between obligate or strict psychrophilic pseudomonas and a facultative psychrophilic spirulina at a 2 dilution rate. And the spirulina was superior competitors at both the dilution rate due to the lower R star value for the lactase, the lower concentration of the growth limiting resource. Here the growth limiting resource is the lactose. Okay, so that R star is less here, so then that is the growth dilution rate that is less, and the R value for the lactase. Thus the spirulina was superior competitor. Okay, then this example simply demonstrates the competition between two or more bacteria for same limiting resources. Okay, so both the organisms are fighting for the same limiting resources here, and that which one will be able to act as according to the R factor value, they will be the major organism here. And the limiting resources can be even light, inorganic compounds such as carbon, nitrogen, sulfur, etc. And even organic compounds are also there, carbon based organic compounds. Okay, then the competition which will dominate the population which they are able to survive. Which population is surviving this particular condition, they will be act as a dominant population over here. And another important example, we can study the resource ratio theory. Okay, by taking the two freshwater diatoms. Okay, so the freshwater diatoms. Okay, this diatom, as you all know, that is an algae. One of the important classification of a diatom, algae is diatoms. Okay, one diatom is known as Astronella formosa and Cyclotella meninina. Okay, so that will be Astronella formosa and Cyclotella meninina. Okay, so meninina is the both the organisms are the freshwater diatoms. Here the limiting factor is silicate and the phosphate. Okay, silicate and the phosphate. In this particular case, Astronella formosa, they will be able to survive in high concentration. Okay, phosphate, and here the phosphate is the limited constituent. Okay, but in the case of Cyclonella, the limiting factor is the silicate over here. Okay, so that is a speciality. The competition occurs when the growth rate of both the species were limited by different resources. When one nutrient eliminated or depleted, the competitive displacement occurs. Okay, so that is another important aspect. If both the species were limited with the phosphate, Astronella formosa replaced Cyclotella meninina. Okay, and if the organisms were limited with the silicate, okay, just opposite, and Cyclonella meninina will replace Astronella formosa. Okay, so here in presence of phosphate, Astronella formosa will be survived, and that will be replaced Cyclotella meninina. Okay, but here in the case of second case, in the case of a limited factor is a silicate, then just opposite, this Cyclotella meninina will be survived, and which replaced the Astronella formosa. Okay, this is another important example. And there are a lot of environmental factors that will be directly influencing the competition. Okay, such one important types of factors are the abiotic factors, such as temperature, pH, oxygen, and these intrinsic parameters are very much influence over the competition. Okay, this will be having the influences in the intrinsic growth rate of the microbial population that leads to the competition. Okay. Example, in the case of high substrate concentration, the competition between marine spirillum and E. coli results in the competitive exclusion of a spirillum. Okay. Substrate concentration is very high. There will be concentration between spirillum and E. coli. Okay. The spirillum, then E. coli will be able to survive better way, and there will be excluded that spirillum from that particular niche. Okay. So this will happen in the case of a high substrate concentration. But what will happen if the case is just revert, just opposite? In the case of low substrate, okay, the competition between marine spirillum and E. coli will happen, and which result the competitive exclusion of E. coli. Okay, the competitive exclusion of E. coli. Here, the low substrate concentration favors the growth of spirillum. Okay, spirillum, and the high concentration of substrate will be helpful for the growth of E. coli. Okay, so this is another important excellent example how environment, especially the abiotic factors such as temperature, will be influences the predation, competition. Then another important factor, how the organism they are able to tolerate the environmental stress. Okay, tolerance to environmental stress. Okay, example here, in a drought condition, the population that can tolerate and survive desiccation can replace less tolerant population. Okay, in a drought condition, the population that can tolerate and survive desiccation. Okay, because there is a stress condition, environmental stress, so they are able to tolerate and survive desiccation that can replace less tolerant population over here. Okay, and in a high temperature or salt concentration, the population with the greatest tolerance to these factors will be survived, and that will be competed with the other population that will be survived, the other will be eliminated. Okay, the high temperature or high salt concentration, the population with a greater tolerance, okay, which organism is able to tolerate this particular concentration in a more accurate way, that organism will be survived. Okay, so that is the important aspect of this particular case. Okay, so here that is the important influence over this competition. Okay, so sometimes the competition will happen for the multiple requirements. Okay, so till now we have been talking about the limited growth substances, probably one particular limited growth substance. Okay, but here it will be also influences the multiple resources between two or more microbial population that are undertaking the competition. Okay, for the similar resource or in a different resource. Example, same example here, the diatom Astronella formosa, okay, and the cyanobacteria Microcystis aeruginosa. Microcystis aeruginosa is cyanobacteria. They are able to fix atmospheric nitrogen. They are able to fix the photosynthesis. They are able to do the photosynthesis and produce their own food materials. Okay, in general, this Microcystis utilizes phosphorus but will not utilize silicon. Okay, this cyanobacteria utilize phosphorus but it will not use silicon. But in the case of this Astronella, the diatom, the algae, okay, so what will happen here? This utilizes both silicon and phosphorus. Okay, both silicon and phosphorus. So what will happen when we cultivate both the algae, the blue-green algae and this diatoms together? Then what will happen? The growth of this blue-green algae, okay, cyanobacteria, will decrease with the increase in silicon or the phosphorus supply ratio. Okay, it will be decrease with the increase in the phosphate supply, because when you are supplying, I will tell you, silicon will be absorbed, phosphorus and both phosphorus and silicon will be absorbed by the Astronella, but at the same time the presence of silicon in this medium will reduce the growth of Microcystis. So that is the growth of Microcystis will decrease here. But in the case of a growth of Astronella, increase with the increase in the silicon and phosphorus supply ratio, because in the case of Astronella, the presence of silicon and the phosphorus will be enhances, because this Astronella require both the silicon and phosphorus for their growth. Okay, the growth of Astronella increases with the increased concentration of silicon or phosphorus. Okay, thus the competition are always consistent with respect to the resource ratio theory. Okay, that is what the main conclusion we wanted to make. And so this is all about the competition. We have discussed all the major principles. So now we are going to conclude this competition is a negative interaction. Both interaction fight for limited nutrients, growth limiting factors, and both the organisms they are going to get adversely affected. Okay, that is known as this particular competition. And this there are the most important thing. It will be depending upon the organism, depending upon limiting factor, depending upon the environmental niche. There is something called as competitive exclusion principle. Okay, so sometimes even though there will be competition, it will exclude one population. It will exclude both the population from destroying one another. Okay, so here we have discussed with the relevant examples. Okay, such as the interaction between Paramecium cordatum and Paramecium berseria, an excellent example of this particular case. Okay, and the Paramecium cordatum and Paramecium aureliae. Okay, so we have discussed all this one. And the chemostat, the continuous culture. Okay, example of competitive exclusion principle we have discussed. And what is the impact of environmental condition? Okay, environmental factors, how it will be affected. Okay, then we have discussed what do you mean by resource ratio theory, what is the impact of the resources whatever we have provided. Okay, and what is the impact for competition we have discussed. And for example we have discussed here the interaction of psychrophilic Pseudomonas and facultative psychrophilic spirilla. Okay, and for the competitive one the resource ratio theory. Similarly, the interaction between Astronella formosa and Cyclotonella meninina. Okay, so that one also we have discussed. And we have discussed what are the major abiotic factors such as temperature, pH, and oxygen concentration and tolerance, how it will be helping for the competition. Finally, competition is happening not only for the single substrate, it can happen for multiple substrate as well. The substrate requirement for multiple component. Okay, this is all about the the competition. So these are the major references. I have taken some of the very recent review article published in some of the reputed journals. Okay, plus this microbial ecology by Atlas and Bartha, and similarly all other basic microbiology textbook. Okay, so thank you for watching this particular class. Okay, if you are having any clarification, you can ask me, either you can directly call me or you can post below for the comment. Okay, thank you very much. Have a great learning. Have a great day.